All right, guys, we've got 5 steps to hitting a massively powerful forehand. And to help us with this today, we have back with us Nathan Pasha, ATP Pro, about to go to Turkey, played at the University of Georgia. We're going to walk you through these 5 steps, but before we get into it, what are some of the basic keys that you think about when you want to destroy a forehand?
Yeah, I mean, long story short, you want to act like you're hitting the ball with your hip because that's where all of your power lies. It lies in your hip to rotate, and then that brings everything else around with good power. You always want your lower body to outrace your lower body. You don't want your upper body to outrace your lower body, if that makes sense. So it definitely starts from the hip, and I pretend like I'm hitting the ball with my hip when I want to destroy a forehand.
All right, very cool. Let's hit these 5 steps. Okay, one of the things that's obviously changed over the years of tennis, Nathan, when we're looking at getting power is just the way that you can hold a racket in your hand. You can get some certain things for free, number one being spin. So what do you think that you and most of the people that you play against, who hit massively big forehands as well out there on the Pro Tour, you actually have a really cool way people can find topspin with their grips without even having to know what grip they're in. So show us how we can do that.
Of course. So as soon as your racket bed is facing directly over the net, this is more of a continental grip that gives you no spin. The more your racket faces towards the ground, the more spin you're going to get for free.
Absolutely. So the more you're turning it down, guys, you're going to find more and more spin. The more spin you find, you're going to have more safety in your shot, especially if you get under the ball. You will lose potentially a little bit of power, and that spin does take power off the ball. But Nathan's going to show you how whatever grip you have, how you use your body, and the swing path you have is going to determine how fast that ball is going over the net. And the spin adds the safety and the freedom to really go for your shot. Would you say that's right?
Of course, completely. The more spin you get, the more you're going to have to lift the ball in your stroke because the spin's bringing the ball back down. The less spin you get in your stroke, the more you're going to have to use handwork to generate some spin to bring that ball back down.
All right, let's get to step number 2. Okay, so step number 2 is the unit turn. And I noticed that when the pros are playing today, and let me know if you do the same thing, they are holding onto that racket with that first move, where back when I was growing up, you could find plenty of examples. McEnroe, Connors, as soon as they saw the ball, they'd actually separate and point. How do you make your first move? How do you make that unit turn to maximize power?
Unit turns are incredibly important. The most obvious thing is the shoulder turn, but even more important is the way your foot faces. Your foot is supposed to face towards the fence as well as your chest face towards the fence to have a complete unit turn.
Awesome. And I noticed that you are holding on that racket in your first move. What is that hold doing for power?
Right, so you want to hold the racket generally pretty high to create a C motion when you swing to create a pendulum effect. When the racket starts here, you let gravity take over and drop the racket so you get more racket head speed as you swing your hip through the ball.
And by holding on the racket, another thing that I notice about what the pros look like is you're going to see the back shoulder a lot. And it's a coiling effect to where when they're here and you got to release things to the ball, now all of a sudden you're using your entire body instead of your arm, which you say is so important. That's how you get those hips involved, right?
Exactly, that's the main way. You said it beautifully.
Hey guys, if you're liking this video so far, Nathan and I would really appreciate if you give this video a like. Nathan's gonna be in Turkey in like a week or so. Yeah. So he'll probably be watching this video in Turkey on the tour. He'd love to turn to YouTube and see this video just filled up with at least 100 likes.
Of course, of course.
So if you like Nathan, like this video. Cool. Okay, so on YouTube, a very, very popular kind of buzzword about the forehand is the lag and the snap. As a touring pro, when you're thinking about the forehand, when you're working with coaches, is this something that you guys actually talk about and work on, and what is it in your mind?
Right, in my mind, the lag is simply just pointing the butt cap at the ball. Pointing the butt cap at the ball creates the lag in the racket head. It sets the racket head in the perfect position where all you have to do is swing through and your hand naturally makes a turning over motion, a turning a doorknob motion that gives you the spin that eventually brings the ball down into the court.
Okay, so that's step number 3 is the lag, but now with the lag, and this is the most important thing for you, is the actual using the hips into the shot.
Right. Well, where does the power come from? How do we let the end part of the swing carry out effortlessly? It starts from the hip. It starts from generating power from the hip, so the follow through just naturally rides out without us trying to manufacture a follow through.
Yeah, so using this hip, and I noticed that racket's up way high. You were talking about the C, and you know, one of the things I'm noticing more about the pros is on a lot of the shots, when we talked about the C, is interesting. Nathan brought up the C. The C in my day, you'd always think about coming here, coming up, coming under, and then lifting. And he says, well, we still think about that, but also when the ball is higher, this one they're thinking about going maybe a little more linear with their C. So kind of explain using the hips, setting up the C, and how you decide if you're going to be doing a C where you're coming under and lifting, and then the balls you want to go and crush right through.
Right, well, if the ball is down low, you want to drop your racket under the ball and have more of a C motion, so you can then brush under the ball and lift it.
If the ball's higher now, this is where you guys are looking to go a little more linear and crush it.
Way more linear. You start your racket high and you just stay linear so we can get a nice clean hit on the sweet spot and continue to swing through the shot.
And this is where you can really go for more of an aggressive shot.
Of course.
And this is where, would you say this is where you're striking with the most power when the ball's up here on the tour today?
For sure, and the most important thing to recognize is when the ball is on the way up, we want more of a linear swing path to have more of a clean shot at the ball compared to the ball traveling up and me trying to catch up with the ball to hit the center of the strings.
Okay, so talk about too how going right through it versus coming up to it, how that's going to mess up when you're going for a high shot.
Right, so when the ball is traveling on the way up, one of the biggest no-nos in tennis is up on up swinging. If the ball is on the way up, and if I'm swinging up, there's a timing game I'm playing with trying to time the ball perfectly in the sweet spot. And even if I time the ball in the sweet spot, it ends up not being a clean or powerful hit anyway because I'm simply just brushing over a ball that's already coming up. Ideally, what you want to do is when the ball is on the way up, that's when you swing through because it's much easier to hit the sweet spot 8 out of 10 times at least.
Hey Nathan, what is your goal this year to be ranked by the end of 2021?
To be at least 70 by the end of the year.
He wants to be 70 in the world by the end of the year. We can help him by giving this 7, 0, and another 0, 700 likes on this video, and his dream will come true. You don't want to keep Nathan's dream from coming true. Let's make this video have 700 likes, and we'll see you on the next tip. Okay, step number 5, how are we finishing out this powerful forehand? What do we got to focus on?
The biggest thing to focus on is not controlling the follow through. Assuming that we already have enough power to power the swing from the hips, we just let it go completely and we let our arms relax. Now the biggest thing is to take information from our misses. If we miss long but the ball is still traveling linear and we get no spin on the ball, we need to add a lot more spin. If we miss long but the ball is on the way down, then that's a good miss. We just have to add more hand to dip the ball sooner.
So Nathan, you were telling me the most important things to get this power going on the forehand are really freeing up the hips, freeing up the follow through, and controlling the hand to make sure that, you know, if you're going to swing hard, the ball is going to go in. And you've got some drills for us today that people can go out there and practice, right?
Yeah, of course. We use a medicine ball a lot in terms of speeding up the hip loading and speeding up the hip push on the way through the ball. Medicine balls are great tools to help athletes with good explosiveness in terms of creating good rotation.
All right, so we'll be breaking out the medicine balls and doing some drills on the court, so you guys can go practice this. Okay, Nathan, so first drill, we've got the medicine ball. Set me up on this, and then you can throw me a couple.
Right, well the biggest thing when trying to improve hip explosiveness on the forehand side is just making sure our sequencing is correct in terms of how we're generating force. Ultimately, when we load onto this back leg here, when we generate that force forward, we want to lead with the hip and then let the upper body come around afterwards. It's the exact same we're going to do in a tennis stroke. Hit the ball with the hip, upper body comes around afterwards.
So during the week, how often do you have a medicine ball in your hands practicing?
Every other day. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my speed work days, and that's where we throw a lot of things around, make sure our sequencing is correct, and we get our hips moving and our upper body lagging behind it.
All right, I'm going to take a couple of these powerful shots from Nathan.
Awesome.
Okay, so, yep, move one more step there. Oh, perfect. Okay, and yeah, let it go.
Perfect. So you're here.
Okay, so the next thing Nathan likes to do is a combo to where he takes the medicine ball, he goes all out so he can really feel that force, feel that power, and then he's gonna grab the racket. And he likes to do about 5 reps where it's full energy, so you don't wanna do too many, and then you grab your racket and you just let it go, right?
Perfectly spot on.
Okay, let's do it.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Woo! That's good, I can't catch it. that'd be good on the camera. This thing's hard, isn't it? Go ahead. Ready?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, Nathan, another thing that you like to do to work on the hand skills, to get the hand to speed up and to be able to control all this aggressive momentum into the ball, is you like to have people hit slice shots at you. Why is this?
Of course. Well, the biggest thing is when a slice travels off of your racket, it has a natural pull downwards, which means that you have to get under the ball even more, use your hand even more to lift the ball up and avoid the ball from going into the net.
And so you got to kind of put a lot of work in your hands.
Exactly.
And also speed up the racket. I think the 2 best ways to handle a slice, is kind of like a side tip, are to do what Nathan's talking about, is to really increase the racket head speed, or you kind of have to slow it down and just punch the ball. Would you agree with that?
Of course, and the main reason you want to increase racket head speed is the more spin you can get, the quicker the ball dips. The faster you swing, the more speed you get.
Yeah, so if you go at it kind of in between, the ball will kind of fly on you. So you got to go for it if you're going to swing at these balls. So let's have some fun with this one.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Ready? Go. Good. Good. All right. Nathan, coaching pop quiz. Do you know who Rick Macy is?
I do.
Who's Rick Macy?
I know he coached the Williams sisters, and that's about all I need to know.
That's all you need to know. The Williams sisters, Andy Roddick, Maria Sharapova. Anyway, guys, I had the honor of going down, taking my own private lesson with Rick. A couple years ago, we worked on my forehand to try and upgrade it a little bit. And I got a 3-part series I want to share with you right now. All you got to do is click up in the card section to get it, or go down the description. And what you're going to find is a lesson I took with Rick Macy Jeff Saldenstein, former top 100 ATP pro, won the first set against Michael Chang, center court US Open with 23,000 screaming fans. And Dr. Mark Kovacs, who works with all the top American players. 3-part series. You can get that right now by going in the description or up in the card section. And thanks so much for watching this video. Okay, final drill. We're gonna do a drill where I'm gonna be doing the skip drill at Nathan. What the ball's gonna do is gonna skip up at him. It's gonna help him really start to crush those balls at his chest. So you take a look at this, guys. This is a great drill you go out and do with your coach this week. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, you ready? Yep. Here we go. Perfect. It's all right. Good job. You crunched a lot of those. Hey Nathan, thanks for coming out and doing that video. 5 amazing tips on how to add power to your forehand. I want to wish you the best of luck as you take off for Turkey. When are you leaving?
I'm leaving in about a week and a half.
Week and a half. Everybody give him a thumbs up. Wish him well in the comments section. Maybe we'll even do a live video or 2 with you while you're in Turkey to follow your progress out there.
I'd love to.
All right, guys, we'll see ya.
See ya.